Today we continue our series on entrepreneurs. We are dedicating this series especially to our young people because of the job situation in our country today. They are difficult to get by, it's difficult to get a job. So we want to encourage our young people to look at entrepreneurship as a possible alternative in their lives. And today, to just justify that, we have a very, very young man here right in front of us, Mr. Rahul Gomes Pereira, who is a chef, and he has started his own restaurant in Sangolda. To tell us more about what it entails to run this kind of a business, Rahul will tell us more about it. Rahul, thank you so much for joining us today. And we want to hear a lot about the Ping's Health Street Restaurant in Sangolda.
Absolutely.
Right. Tell us, how did you get into this idea of starting your own restaurant?
Well, so I've been a professional chef for over 14 years now, 12 years actually.
14 years?
12 years
You look
now.
too young for that.
Well, so I actually did a program with the Oberoi School of Learning and Development, which is part of a work come study.
That's right.
So my entire hotel management was spent actually working. So I consider that as my work experience as well.
Okay,
So I've been a professional chef for that long, and when we were looking at what segments the market is something that is new, refreshing, and what young people like me actually want to go and eat. I realized that Asian food is predominantly looked at either Chinese or Japanese, and a very unhealthy form of Asian food. And the world today is moving towards a healthier lifestyle. People prefer eating healthy. Healthy food drives you to come back more often than not.
That's right.
And hence, Ping's came about of being a healthy Asian street food. But of course, the beer garden that we have is the unhealthy element. But
all right. Okay. So before Ping's, you were with Oberoi Training College. Before that, you were with which catering college?
So I passed out of the Dadar Catering College in Bombay.
Okay, right.
I studied at the IHM in Mumbai. Then post that, I worked with the Oberoi and got through their training program called the Oberoi Center. And went on to work with the Oberoi for a couple of years. Okay. Then moved out to do something of my own.
How was your experience with Oberoi?
Well, phenomenal, I must say. One of the premier hotel companies to work for, especially because of a very old set of values that the company is run by, and that helps you actually learn a lot.
So this business of healthy Asian street food.
Yes.
You actually traveled to Vietnam and all these places to see what it is all about, or you actually, how did you get into this particular segment which was not available in Goa earlier?
True. Well, extensively traveled through Southeast Asia, as well as trips to New York and other countries, Australia and other countries, where this sort of cuisine is predominantly very famous now. Okay. And it's something which I love eating, my peers love eating, and something that is really new and refreshing, and I think it's a must.
So in the Kalangut Sangolda belt, there are lots of restaurants. Yeah. Are you the only one that is doing this particular, what we call health Asian street food?
I would like to believe so. I've not come across another restaurant doing it. And yes, I would like to believe so that we are the only ones doing it.
So that is why your restaurant is really doing well, because people have found that it is better to eat healthy food than to eat food which is really not very good for the health.
And there should be a differentiation where healthy food should not taste bad. A lot of people think that healthy food should taste bad. Healthy food should taste really nice and tasty, and it doesn't necessarily have to be looking different and feeling different. There are certain parameters that you have to follow, and that's what we follow. We use less oil. Cooking techniques are different.
Okay. And your clientele, is it predominantly Goan, or is it we have, especially during the holiday season, we have local people from Bombay, Delhi coming, as well as people from abroad. So what is your...
So this season, I mean, we came to learn that we had a 60-40 ratio of 60 being local and 40 being non-local. And I think that's really encouraging because that showed us, and the locals were repeat customers. Right. That showed us that there was a want and there was a desire for a product like this. And
are you going to be running like throughout the year, or is it just...
it's going to be throughout the year.
Oh, that's very good news, because if it's a healthy food, and here is a person from Sangalda offering you that facility, don't forget, Pings is the place. Okay, anyway, basically, as I said, we are here this morning to really encourage young people to get into business. What are the problems you faced personally to get into business?
Well, so there, of course, there are a couple of limitations when you plan on doing business, especially in Goa. So I've been based out of Delhi for a very long time. We've opened up restaurants in Delhi and not faced some of the issues that we faced in Goa. Just to start off with, I think just right from construction stage to obtaining labor who want to work the entire 12 hours, or finding a contractor that completes the job at a certain time because time is of essence. These small hiccups are always there. Yeah. And you got to consider and factor that before you put foot into setting up anything here, and always factor that in. Post that, I would say, finding trained professionals that are willing to actually put in time and effort to earn rewards is another problem that we see. Okay. There's ample of youth that can be such great F&B professionals, but I think just the professionalism is lacking somewhere, and I think that comes from maybe our educational institutions and other workplaces not driving it in too much, but I see that changing slowly, hopefully.
Okay. So what you're really saying is that among the problems you faced, one of the problems was getting real help in terms of professional people.
Absolutely.
Though we have something like, I think to my knowledge, more than 12, let us say, catering colleges in Goa, you still have a problem. Is it because they are not professional enough, or is it because of salary, or is it because they all want to run abroad?
I would say it's a mixture of all three.
Okay.
There's a certain segment that wants to run abroad for sure, and they tell you that they're actively pursuing something to abroad, and they want to work for a limited period of time, and when that happens, they're going to go. There's an active population who's extremely comfortable with their lifestyle and want to work just to support their extracurricular activities. So they want to work only for that limited period of time and then have that much time off. So I guess that will change in the long run with more restaurants coming in and more professional setups coming in. Considering that Goa was always an accidental restaurateur setup, especially in the Kalangut side.
So what you're really saying is in places like Delhi, Bombay, there is no problem about getting professional help?
Absolutely not.
It is here that is a problem?
Big, major problem.
Okay, right, okay. Now, take for example a guy who has come out from the catering college in Pereira, okay, and you hire him. What would you expect to his normal working hours to be?
Well, so a 12 working hour day is the average for food and beverage.
Okay.
However, the 12 working hours is not at a stretch. There's always a break period in between, which will work out to 2 to 3 hours. So a 8 to 9 working hour day is what is expected from the individual.
Okay. All right.
However, 12 working hours being on site.
Yeah, that's right. So that's where our people find it difficult to
absolutely.
Come and
this is a very fair assumption. In the kitchens, I mean, 16, 14 working hour days are quite normal.
Yeah, that's right. Now tell me, say I like your food very much and therefore I want to throw a party to my friends. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to come to your restaurant. I want to, do it at home. So would you take an order for a party outside the premises, your premises?
At a 48-hour advance notice, I mean, it depends on the size. I'm assuming a 15 to 20 people size. A 48-hour advance notice is what we prefer.
Okay.
And we could do a whole setup for you at home.
And what would be the maximum number you would take at a particular situation?
Well,
like that?
Considering that we're still new and still learning the ropes about how to do it in Goa, we've done it elsewhere. We wouldn't want to cross 40 people.
All
as
right.
of now.
Okay. Now, I just want to, for the sake of our young entrepreneurs who are thinking of getting into business, we have 3 agencies in Goa. One is the EDC, Economic Development Corporation. We have the CIBA, and we have one new thing that has come up by the government called Startup in the IT section of the government. Okay. Now, these 3 people offer help in terms of mentoring you to learn business. They also guide you towards getting finance from agencies that provide the finance from the government. And they also encourage you to do your business. Now, did you take advantage of any one of these 3?
Well, I did not. I did not use any of these 3 specific agencies of the government to raise funding. However, from what I hear and from friends who have used it, they're extremely effective means to raise capital for good business ideas in the state.
Okay. So you managed to get funding from your own sources?
Yes.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's a different company.
All right. Okay. So you call yourself, what's the right word for your restaurant now? Besides the Ping, what is the rest of it called? Is it called Ping's Healthy Street Food Restaurant?
It's called Ping's, and we call it it's called Ping's Beer Hoy for the beer garden attached to it. And the tagline is Healthy Asian Street Food.
All right. Okay. Now, are you also linked with the supply food chains like Swiggy and Zomato and all?
We are.
Okay. So what would be their range? Now, for example, somebody from Kartali, and you're in Sangolda. Would Swiggy deliver it from there to there?
So it usually follows a 1.5 to 2 kilometer radius for order size below a certain amount.
Okay.
And then above a certain amount, the radius increases.
All right.
So that's primarily based again on both the apps. Zomato is not as effective as Swiggy in Goa. Swiggy has a larger market share. And although we've signed on, we're not yet on the platform because it takes a very long time to process and get onto the platform here. Again, something which we don't face otherwise anywhere else, because in Delhi at least it's a 1 week turnaround and you're on the platform and out. Here it took a while longer, and also I think they're getting their commissions in place and things like that in Goa still, because everyone's still very new in the market here.
No, so say for example, I live in Panjim, okay, and you're in Sangolda. I want your food. Should I tell you or should I tell Swiggy?
Well, if Swiggy lists us in so again, Swiggy is going through a total different problem back end with their logistics. They are finding it extremely hard to find logistical partners to actually, especially with the seasons changing. They say if we put you on for this season, we might not put you on for monsoon.
Oh, I see.
So there's a huge back-end issue that Swiggy itself faces.
Right.
However, we are planning to start our own delivery system on the site, and then you can just call us up and we'll deliver it to you.
Okay, tell me, you got several varieties of Vietnamese and that kind of foods, what you call street foods. What is currently the most favorite of your clientele? What do they like to have?
So, 2 dishes that I'll name 2 healthy and 2 unhealthy dishes. I mean, 2 not so healthy dishes. The pho and the ramen. I mean, the pho is something which is a Vietnamese soup with noodle and meat and everything in it. It's a meal in a bowl. The healthiest feeling ever. And that's really. I know people who have come back time and again just for the pho.
Okay.
And then you have the dynamite shrimp, which is not as healthy as the pho, which is also something which people really love. So I guess we have both. For your cheat day.
But, hang on. You said earlier that yours is primarily a health Healthy food. So why are you serving something which is not so healthy?
Well, you cannot shove your version of food down everybody's throat. You'll always have that one unhealthy person at the
Right.
table.
Okay. Now that you've kind of really settled down in Sangolda, what are your plans for Goa for the future?
Well, so we've done Sangolda. We've just about launched another project in Asagaon
Okay.
by the name of Jamun, which is an Indian regional restaurant.
Okay.
And as of now, the two restaurants are all that we're looking at for Goa. The season is just unwinding, and we're looking at planning for the monsoon, and then planning for next season, and then see how it goes.
So that's what I'm saying. So, in your Maha plan, is South Goa coming anywhere into being?
Well, not as of now, although we're really impressed with what's happening down south, because South Goa seems to be a more sustainable tourism model than what we're seeing up north. And the resorts and the hotels are much larger, and the clientele is better, and there's limited options to dine out at. And whichever options are available, they're extremely good high-end options that people frequent and are doing extremely well over the years. But we're looking at south, but nothing effective on the plans.
What would we say would be one of the key areas, problems in South? Is it finding a place, a suitable place? Or is it the location in terms of getting clientele to park their cars and then come in? What would be one of the key areas that you really look at?
Location is key, because you'd want to be well placed between the traction market area where higher footfalls. But again, parking is such a key issue across Goa. You don't find parking anywhere. Restaurants are allocated licenses, but there's no infrastructure for parking. So parking on the road has become a norm, which now we try to avoid, and actually find parking spaces and create parking spots. But I'm assuming that problem will be from north and south both. That parking is a real issue.
So hopefully there will be something also in the south, because those people who are listening here are also saying, hey, if this healthy food is available in North Goa, why are we not included, particularly because of the bridge issues?
That's true.
That's one of the biggest problems. Anyway, Rahul, it's been great talking to you. Is there any tip you want to give to our young people to say that, yes, go ahead and start business, and it will be troublesome in the beginning, but if you really, really mean to start business, you can be a winner in Goa?
Absolutely. I mean, business anywhere in the beginning is going to be troublesome, and don't let that at all, deter you from starting business. And especially at this time in Goa, right? It's a great time to start business, because you'd find a lot of your peers and a lot of the younger Goans that have spent a lot of time working outside Goa want to come back, and they only will come back when Goa has changed to something new, and Goa will only change when young people like us start something new in Goa.
Right, yeah.
And it's extremely important that we give back to the state that gave us so much. We should definitely go out and start businesses and try to change at least Goa for the better.
One last question.
Sure.
You have started with a very solid catering base. You studied, you were trained in Oberoi, you worked your way right up to the point of starting your own business. Is it the only way to go? Or say, let's say somebody who has passed out from the catering college in Pereira, and he has worked for, say, a year or two just to get a hang of it. What would be the best time for a young person to start business? Is it like you, after getting almost 14 years of experience? Or is it somebody who has had a good study in the college, has done a 2-3 years of experience? What is the best time to really get into the thing for a young man?
Well, it's so relative. But I think if you feel that you have a great idea and you can execute it, you should go and do it. It really doesn't depend. But again, you must plan through and ensure that it's just not an idea, and you haven't planned the execution and the work that it entails back end. So there has to be certain sense of maturity. It's not necessarily about the amount of years that you work or you know how long you work. As long as you're mature and you understand that business is not just a one day open your shop and then business is going to flow. There has to be a sense of maturity that you have to sustain and plan out all the different possibilities of what could happen.
One of the secrets, as I see it now from what you are telling me, one of the secrets is that you have done a little bit of, quite a bit of market research to find out what is missing in our this thing of restaurants in Goa.
Absolutely.
And you have tried to fill that gap. So is that one of the key areas you think?
Well, it's a very important area because you'd want to bring something refreshingly new to what people normally. I mean, by opening just another restaurant puts you in the boat of competition of so much more.
Also rat.
And it's a very it's a rat race. So
that's right.
You'd rather take your time out and actually understand what people want, and you can deliver that. You should go ahead and do it.
Well, you hear it from a professional. He's running a very good restaurant in Sangolda called Pink's, and he has got a clientele of 40-60. That means 40 people foreigners, 60 people local. And he has done his research and he has found out that this particular segment of food that people really like to eat, healthy food, is not available in North Goa. So he has found that little loophole. He has built on it, has done his research. So if you are thinking of business, please consider all these factors: your money factor, your parking factor, the area you want to start your business. All these factors go into it. And don't forget, there is SIBA, as I said, who can help you. There is EDC that can help you. And there is also the new startup run by the government of Goa in the IT department. And they are all there really willing to help you, both with the idea of encouraging you, mentoring you, and even helping you with the finance. So Rahul, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate really your coming and talking to us, because even if we get 10 new people to start their business, we have done our work today.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.